Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ndolozo Fava. I am your host today. I work for the CSOS. I am responsible for research, knowledge management, and education. And welcome to our webinar today. I see it is exactly 12 o'clock on my side, and we have a good enough number to start the webinar for today's session. I just want to thank everyone for making time and to join today's session. And I will promise you it's going to be a fruitful session. Kindly note that this session is only meant for the CSOS Connect registration modules only. We will have a series that will deal with other modules later on this year. I know we'll have another one next week, and then we'll continue advertising them as we diarize them on our side. We have today that will be presenting to us Ms. Musa Mulekwa. She's our CSOS Connect specialist, and she will be taking us through today's session. Musa, I saw you logging in the call. I can see your name. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sisi. Can you kindly share your presentation? I'm handing over to you now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Musa Mulekwa, and I am going to do a live demo of the system and take you through, like Mr. Vava said, the registration module. All right, without wasting any time, you are going to need to register your profile on www.csosconnect.org.za. Once you've searched that, this is what it will look like. Provided you do not have a profile registered, you're going to click on register. From there, you're going to put in your username, followed by your title, followed by your initials, your first name, followed by your surname. Then you can either choose your South African ID or passport. Insert then your South African ID or passport number. And then you're going to choose the user type. Please note that we've got attorney, board of directors, court-appointed scheme administrator, developer, executive management agent, managing association of retired persons, occupier, owner, representative, sectional trustee, sectional title trustee, and self-managed. Please note that it is important that you choose the correct role that is applicable to you, because then the system is custom made according to the role that you have. If you have a certain role, certain features will not be there. Therefore, it is important that you choose the correct role. From there, you're going to go and put in your cell phone number. And the only preferred method of communication is email. Once you're done, you're going to click on the terms and conditions. You're more than welcome to click and read or go through them. Then you click on the I am not a robot reCAPTCHA. Select what is applicable. And then from there, you are going to then register once that is done. Once you've registered, you're going to receive an email with a temporary password. You're going to come back and now you log in. You put in the username followed by the temporary password that you would have received by the system or from the system. Once you have logged in, the system is automatically or immediately going to redirect you to password manager. You copy, paste that temporary password here where it says your password, and then you change the password to your desired one. Please note that the password must have at least 8 characters, 1 special character, 1 uppercase, and 1 number. You come and insert that password, and then you come and confirm it, then you save. Once you saved, then the system is going to redirect you or place you onto the dashboard. However, if you did register as a managing agent, the system is going to request that you link yourself to the managing agent company or the company that, the managing agent company. So then you're going to insert the company type, the name of the company, the address, you search, you find the company, then you link your profile to that company, and then your system will then be active. Once that's done, you're going to come through to the dashboard. On the dashboard, it is going to say, hi, Mosa, welcome to CSOS Connect, your community scheme ombud service. From there, we've got register a scheme, link a scheme, lodge rules, lodge a query, submit section 13.2, lodge a dispute, report non-compliance, request for waiver, submit section 16, and link as court appointed. So for today, we are going to go through register a scheme, lodge a scheme, and then log a query, and then the other features I'll show on the other side, which will be the amendment of particulars, delinking yourself from a scheme, and deactivating. And like Mr. Bava said, the lodgement of rules and lodging of disputes, all those other modules that we have will be done in a separate session. So that is now the dashboard. Underneath the dashboard, we've got my schemes. Under my schemes is all the schemes that you would have registered or the ones that are also in progress. So if you started the registration process and you did not complete it, it's going to sit here under in progress. Then you'll be able to come and complete it. Otherwise, all your schemes that have been approved or in a busy approving amendment, pending approval, all those schemes are sit here under my scheme. So once you have registered a scheme, it will be on a pending approval status. And then once it has been approved, the status will then change to approved. And like I said, if it's pending amendments, the status will also be updated as and when there is activity on that scheme. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is register a scheme. You click on register scheme. You put in the name of the scheme. You follow that by the type of scheme. So we've got HOA, housing cooperatives, housing scheme, so retired person, sectional title, and shared block company. From there, you're going to select your role in the scheme. Please do not put in anything where it says deeds registration number and CIPC. You can only just fill in the first three. And then from there, you're going to put in the address of the scheme and you search. The scheme should appear in an NA status, meaning that it has not been registered. Once it appears as registered, pending amendment, pending approval, just know that the scheme has been registered. And the one thing that you need to do is to link yourself as opposed to registering the scheme. And then if it appears as cancelled, it also just means that the scheme has been deactivated. Then you can just log a query to find out why that is. But if it is in an NA status like this one, you just click on that circle, then you proceed to register scheme. The system will ask if this is a new or an existing scheme. Please note that a new scheme is a scheme that has been in existence for a year. So anything from inception to 1 year, that is a new scheme. And any scheme that has been in existence for more than a year is an existing scheme. And then you go next, then you're going to go and click on or agree to the solemn declaration. Go next, and now you're going to put in the scheme's general information. So we've got the name of the scheme, the type of scheme, the date the scheme came into effect. So this is a new scheme, so I'll say that it came into effect in May, meaning that it's less than a year that it has been in effect. Again, you put in nothing on deeds registration number and CIPC. Right next to that, we've got person making the application. Your role in the scheme will be auto-populated and your details. Then you can click on make me authorized rep. And you can also click on make me executive committee if it is applicable to you. Other than that, you can just pick the one that is applicable to you. Then you're going to put in the number of units in the scheme. If you put in 40 and you go next, please note that there will be a levy calculator on the system where you can come in, put in the number or the amount, the levy type, apply to all units, and then you get the contribution. Please also note that you are able to,
Musa,
yes,
sorry to interject. I
Yes.
think there's a lot that we have done before we move to the levy schedule now. Can I ask our people if they might have any questions that you emanating from the first part of the registration when they are setting up their profile, and then we'll move forward after that?
100%, thank you.
Okay. Colleagues, do you have questions for the presenter? If you can indicate by show of hands. And I see that there's a... Okay, can I start with Faith? Faith? If you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, while Faith is struggling, can you assist by unmuting Faith? And there's a question here that reads as follows. May I please know which are the newest schemes going to be registered? I think we can take it with this one. Is an owner allowed to start exclusive use area independent of body corporate trustees? This question is not related to today's topic. We can answer it in another format or in another engagement. And they're asking for a recording. And then they are saying also that the resetting of the password never works, Musa. If you can tackle those two questions.
Okay, so it's the password question, and what is the other question?
The other question, they are asking whether which schemes, which are the newest schemes that are going to be registered.
All right, so all schemes need to be registered. The moment the community scheme goes into effect, it should be registered with CSOS, and you have the responsibility of conducting or doing the registration on your own on CSOS Connect. So I'm not sure if I have answered that because I'm not quite understanding that question.
Okay, let's go to Brian Human.
Hi, thanks. Can you hear me?
Loud and
Yes,
clear,
we can.
sir.
Okay, the question that I have, and I think it's closely linked with the exclusive use area, but the question that I have is, as a member, as a regular without portfolio member of a body corporate, and the scheme is not loaded when I try and access it, am I then empowered to load that scheme within CSOS Connect?
So you can register the scheme, provided you've got all the documentation for the scheme. So you must have the ID numbers of the trustees. You must have the bank what is this? The bank accounts. You must have all those documentation or the information, and then yes, you can register a scheme.
So if thank you for that. So if I understand you correctly, as an owner, as a regular member, I want to make use of CSOS Connect, but I can do squat until the executives of the scheme load the scheme, because I can't get, I'm on CSOS Connect, but I can't get to the complex that I'm empowered to be on CSOS Connect with until the complex gets off their bottom and does something, and they're not interested in doing it, which is why I became a member of CSOS Connect. Do you understand the conundrum that I'm in?
I do, absolutely. Yes, because you then can link yourself. Have you tried to register a scheme though? Or are you unable to do so because you don't have the relevant documentation?
Yeah, I don't have the mandate. I haven't tried because I don't have the mandate. I will admit I'm not empowered to do that. That's why we've elected trustees and have managing agent. But, the point is neither the trustees nor the managing agent have connected the complex with CSOS Connect. But I would like to make use of the facilities of CSOS Connect. I cannot until the complex engages with CSOS Connect. And the complex is not going to engage with CSOS Connect because it removes the power or the authority or the perceived power that the trustees or the managing agent has?
I think that also goes back to compliance because if the scheme is not on CSOS Connect or if it's not registered, then it's not compliant because the compliance team is now using CSOS Connect. So they're going to go and verify the scheme's documentation. So whether they like it or not, sooner or later, they will be forced to use the platform because that's where everything now is done. The compliance of the scheme, the annual returns, lodgement of rules, everything is now done on the system. So I'm not sure how long it will take for the compliance team to get to your particular scheme or complex, but it's definitely coming. I'm not sure if Mr. Vava, you can get the name of the complex and get the compliance team to reach out so that they can start doing things the right way.
Definitely, Musa, I was going to ask Mr. Human to put the details of the scheme in our charts or write to any one of us, and then we'll definitely ensure that the scheme is registered. We'll reach out to the compliance team and they will ensure that the scheme is registered, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. That's kind of
Okay.
satisfied me a bit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
you.
Mr. Human. You can proceed with the training, Musa.
All right, thank you so much. Wait, was there not other questions? I think there's the password. When it comes to the password reset, there is sometimes a delay. If you reset the password, there may be a delay in receiving the new password. However, if you are struggling, I think we will share our details, the three of us on the chat. Mlondolozi, Vuyisa and myself. You are more than welcome to let me know if you're struggling to get your password. And then we can just have a look into it. So if it is a password reset struggle, then yeah, like I'm saying, sometimes there is a delay, but we are able to look into it and then assist the best way that we can. However, if you're copying and pasting the password and it's giving you an error, I would advise that you delete the last character of the password, then you try and log in, because sometimes when you copy the password, it also copies like an extra space at the end of the password. Then when you paste it, then it gives an error as if the password is incorrect or your login details are incorrect. But the one thing that I can advise is that please just delete the last character of the password and then try and log in. Then you will see that it will allow, or it will it will allow you to continue with the registration. Okay. All right. I'm going to proceed. Can you still hear me?
Loud and clear, Musa.
All right, thank you. So like I said, if your units are less than 50, you will get the levy schedule on the system looking like this. Then you're able to populate and then you see the amount. I am going to go back to show you what happens if the unit amounts are more than 50. So I put in there 60 units, go next. Then you'll see that you don't have that levy schedule here. It means that you need to go and download the schedule. Once you download the schedule, you're going to go and populate the details, or rather the levy amount. Right, so you are going to enable editing. You will see that the levy calculator is custom made for that scheme. Please note that this is the only levy calculator or the levy schedule that is applicable on CSOS Connect. So you can never put in your own levy schedule. It will be referred back, but I do know that there's going to be another session pertaining levy schedules. So maybe let me not really go too much into detail there. So you can go and put in the unit amount, and then you click and drag down. And then the levy calculator will calculate for you. And again, you're able to edit as you go, because we do know that sometimes the unit amounts are not the same. Please note that the maximum that we collect is 40 Rand, and also anything less than, any levies that are less than 500, we do not pay anything for, because then I've heard people saying the system has an issue, it's not calculating, but then when I check, I find that the levy amount is less than 500. Anything less than 500 will always remain zero. And then anything more than 500 Rand, that's where it will start calculating. For example, if it's 600, then it's 2 Rand. So it is not a system glitch, but it's just how the levies are calculated. So after you have inserted the amount or inputted the amount, you're going to save. You close, you come back to the system and you import. Then you find the levy schedule, click on open. Once it says successfully imported, you go next. Then it's going to ask if there are any executive committee members. You're going to say yes. If there are no executive committee members, you're going to say no. And then you're going to put in their details. So you put in the first executive committee member, you come to the second one, you put in the passport number or the ID number, followed by the name and the surname, followed by the email address and the contact number, followed by the date of appointment. So the date of appointment always has to be after the scheme came into effect. It can never be before the scheme came into effect. So I did say that the scheme came into effect in May. And then I'll put in the executive committee members in June. And this one will be today. Then you must always have 2 bank signatories, and you are able to add members as you go.
Sorry to interject again.
Yes.
I noticed that we're moving to another part of the registration. I just want to find out from the attendees if we have any questions relating to the levy schedule. Let me see on the chart.
Right.
Okay, Honor. Honor, if you can unmute yourself and ask the question. If you can help muting Honor.
She's unmuted, she can.
Thank you, Vui. Honor? Okay, you can proceed, Musa. It seems that Honor is struggling.
All right. She's more than welcome to speak when she can speak. So, like I said, you're able to add more executive committee members, but there should definitely be a minimum of 2. So it's always a minimum of 2. So once you have both of them and you've got the email address, you go next. Then you're going to put in the managing agent if it is applicable. If there is no managing agent, you can just say no. Managing agent is the company type, followed by the reference number, and then the company name, followed by the telephone number, email address, portfolio manager, and then the fidelity certification validation. You put in the date of the validation. I'm not quite sure how long it is valid for. And then you're going to put in the physical address of the managing agent company. And then you go next. Then you're going to go and put in the banking details, account holder, bank name. We've got a list of banks. They've actually been, we've added more banks. We had less banks in the beginning of the system, but we have since increased them. The bank account number, the type is still check and savings. And then where it says give the account a friendly name. We always say use the name of the scheme so that if there is a debit or if you're paying through CSOS Connect, because that's also live, then you are able to see, because the friendly name will be used as the reference for payment. Then you go next, register the financials. This is where you're going to put in the auditor company. Oh, okay. There we go. You put in the financials, the auditor name, auditor company name, the financial year end of the scheme. The contact name of the auditors. Followed by the email address and the contact number. Then the physical address of the auditors. And you go next. Authorized rep. If you're the authorized rep, you just say yes and your details are auto-populated. Then you go next, which brings us to the end of your scheme registration. This is where you are then required to upload supporting documents. So you will see we've got any other governance documents. You've got the certificates of incorporation, conduct rules, copy of title deeds, management rules, schedule. And here where it says levy schedule, please note that you have to attach the levy schedule that you would have downloaded from the system. You can never attach your own one. And then sectional title plans. Please note that you are able to register a scheme without any of these documents, hence none of them are mandatory at the moment. And then you've got about 30 days to come back and well, you've got about 30 days to gather all your documentation and then you come back and upload it. So after 30 days, then the compliance team will reach out to say, where are your documents? You are not compliant, but we do allow you to register without the documentation. Then you can come back and upload the docs once you have them. So after this, as you can see, I have not uploaded anything. I can still go next. And then it will say that registration completed. And it's going to then go and be reviewed. Okay, so I don't know if there are any questions before I proceed to scheme linking. All right. So please note that after you've done your scheme registration, you get a ticket number. This is the ticket number that you can use to follow up on your registration. You also get a notification in your notification center. It will show what the notification is about. So this is registration, the name of the scheme and the date of it. And you'll see it underneath that we've got amendment of rules, we've got a dispute and all of that notification. Everything that you do, you get a notification. And then it's highlighted in orange. Once it has been read, it moves down to the red box. All right, so then I'll go back to the dashboard and I'll come to scheme linking. Please note that scheme linking or the administration of a scheme happens if the scheme has been registered. So as you can see, it says if the scheme has already been registered with CSOS, you can administer the scheme. So like Mr. Human was asking about the scheme, had the scheme been registered, him as the owner, he would be able to go and link himself to the scheme and then be able to see what is going on around this, like with the scheme. So you would have access to the scheme. But also as an owner, you cannot make any changes to the scheme unless you're authorized to do so. So you click on link a scheme. The scheme has been registered. Maybe it was registered in 2020 or 2016. You put in the name of the scheme. Don't put in anything where it says registration number. You come and you choose your role, and then you search. You don't even have to put in the physical address. So it's simply the name of the scheme, your role in the scheme, and you click on search. Once you click on search, then the scheme, it's like a search engine. So the schemes will appear, and then you need to choose the one that is applicable to you. Please note that the scheme has to either be in an approved status or in imported status. If I see imported here, either approved or imported. I don't see imported, but other than that, you will not be able to link yourself. So like I said, it has to be approved. If you click on approved, you will see that the link community scheme button will be active. If you click on pending amendment, you cannot link yourself to the scheme. If you click on busy approving amendments, you cannot link yourself to the scheme. If you click on saved, you cannot link yourself to the scheme. So if it's pending amendment, it means that someone is making an amendment to the scheme. If it's pending busy approving amendment, it means that the registration team or the administrators are working on the ticket. If it is sitting on a saved status, it means that someone has started the registration and they left it halfway. They did not complete it. Therefore, you cannot link, you can only register. So the person who started the registration needs to complete it, submit it, have it approved, then you'll be able to link yourself to it. If it is saved and you don't know whose profile it's on, you can log a query with us. We'll be able to tell you if it's any of the colleagues or any of the trustees who have started the process, and then we can reach out to them to tell them to complete the process. And if the scheme is cancelled, you also cannot link yourself to it because it no longer is part of the system. Here it is cancelled. That means that it no longer exists. And then we also have a status called referred back. If the scheme is in a referred back status, you also cannot link it because it means that someone either tried to register the scheme or they tried to link themselves to the scheme, but their request was referred back, maybe because they submitted the incorrect documents or they were not authorized to represent that scheme. Whatever reason for refer back is, they got it and then they just have to go action what is required of them, resubmit, and then get it approved. So anytime there's a refer back, there's a reason for refer back that the client needs to go or the stakeholder needs to go and action and submit again. Once that is done, okay, yes, so those are the statuses. So I'm going to now click on the scheme. Please also note another thing when you link yourself to the scheme, please also check not only the name, but the registration and number. So you will see it will be REG if it's an old number, REG/16/GP or Free State or Northwest, and then And then with the new schemes, we've got the 2022/3. The 3 represents the province, while the number in between, whether it's a 3 or a 9 or a 1, it represents the province, and then the rest of the number. So you must always make sure that the registration number matches. So even if the name has a glitch, or not a, yeah, at least, so if the name was spelled incorrectly but the registration number matches, we encourage you to link yourself to the scheme. Once it has been approved, you can now come and amend the name to the correct one. So because remember all the schemes that were imported, they were registered manually, and some of them do have a bit of fault in the names because of handwriting at that time. So you are able to link yourself as long as the registration number matches, and then we can come and amend the name for you to the correct name, and then you continue with that scheme. And also very important is the province. So I'm going to take the scheme. It belongs to me. The province is correct. The registration number is fine and it's in approved status. I click on link, agree to the solemn declaration, link, And then please note that it will say to you, you are currently not linked to the scheme as the requested role. Please submit minutes of the AGM providing you with authorization to represent the scheme. Please note that you can attach the AGM minutes. You can attach the agreement. You can attach the resolution, and you can attach a contract. So those are the 4 documents that you can attach that are not listed: AGM minutes, contract, resolution, or agreement. Any one of those 4. So you come and click and attach any one of those. And then followed by your address as the authorized rep. And then from there, click on link community scheme. Once that is done, your request to be linked has been submitted successfully. You get a ticket number. Once you have been linked to the scheme, you are going to get a notification, and then the scheme is going to sit here on your dashboard, and you're going to get a notification like this saying, attention, so-and-so scheme requires documents. Please upload them to complete the process. Please note that this happens because normally with the schemes that are being linked, are the schemes that were registered manually. Like I said, they were imported into the system. When they were imported into the system, they were not imported with the relevant scheme documentation, because then the documents were submitted manually, so nobody scanned them and archived. They were archived manually, essentially, so they are sitting in storerooms somewhere. So you need to come and upload those scheme documents so that they can be archived on the CSOS Connect system. So the scheme will be sitting here. So anytime you've got any notification like this, please note that you just come here and you click on upload. And then it will show you what documents you need to upload for that scheme. You can attach the ones with a red star only, because those are the mandatory ones. However, if you have all of the documentation, you can attach it. So for this particular scheme, you will see it will say management rules, conduct rules. In this instance, you can attach management or conduct rules, or you can attach both. If you have management, you attach management. If you have conduct, you attach conduct. But if you only have management rules, you can attach them here and also here for the sake of being able to proceed. Then you come and upload your levy schedule, followed by your audited financial statements. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 documentation that have a red star on them. They're mandatory. Anything else is optional. So you come, you upload those documents, and then you submit. They get reviewed, and then it gets approved. So that's what happens with linking a scheme. Anytime you link a scheme, you're gonna have to come back and upload the scheme's most recent or the most updated scheme documents so that they can be archived. Are there any questions before I move on to the next module?
There is a question that I think it's valid. Let me read on the chat. It reads as follows, Musa. In regards to registration number, can we not come to a conclusion of using one registration number? Sometimes it gets confusing on our end if we have old and new registration numbers.
All right, thank you so much. When it comes to the old and the new, no, we cannot do that. So remember, like I said, the old registration number was CSOS REG 16/EG and then the number, right? This is the format of the old registration number. And then stakeholders came and said that this registration number is giving them issues when they need to make payments at the bank. sometimes some of the banks do not accept this reference number. So then we had to go and change it to be something much more simpler. And that's why now it's numbers. So if you have a case of old registration number and new registration number, please note that you do not have to choose between the two. The two are linked to each other. So when it comes to finance, so if you've been paying on the REG, and now you link and you get a new reg, when it gets to finance, they go and they merge the two on Sage. So whatever payments were done on the old gets linked to the new. So even if you continue paying using the old one, the payments will still reflect. However, it is advisable to use the new registration number.
Okay, there's a second question which reads as follows. Can a scheme be deleted and recreated? Our scheme was set up, but with all the wrong information.
We do not encourage to delete the scheme. We rather encourage you to amend the particulars of the scheme.
I didn't get that part, Musa.
All right, so we do not advise to get a scheme deleted. We only delete schemes if it's a duplicate scheme, one, or if the scheme has been demolished or it was, all those other reasons that need a court order. The only time you won't need a court order to delete a scheme on CSOS Connect is if it was erroneously registered, meaning that it was a duplicate, right? So if your scheme has all the incorrect information, we encourage you to amend the particulars of the scheme on CSOS Connect.
Okay. And then there's a question that reads, currently do not have CSOS profile. What might be the best approach towards securing a first scheme for CSOS registration?
The first thing is to get a profile. You need to register your profile on www.csosconnect.org.za. Have an active profile. You cannot register a scheme without a CSOS Connect profile.
Okay, we have a hand from Mr. Human.
Yeah, thank you, Musa. It probably isn't working like that now, but in the long run, is the intent that CSOS Connect would be a repository for all of the compliance documentation for the for all of the complexes within the country? Am I correct in making that assumption?
If I can answer that, Mr. Human,
Okay,
actually,
yeah.
we were discussing that not so long ago as the CSOS. That is the plan. We are going to amend the scope of work for CSOS to include, to make it a repository of all scheme governance documents. Because if you look at our mandate, we have a mandate to keep a record of all scheme documents as the CSOS. Definitely, it will be somewhere in CSOS Connect that will be covered, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. That's quite reassuring.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Musa?
Yes, thank you so much. So we have done scheme registration and then we've covered scheme linking. I would like to move on to amendment of particulars. So you can only amend particulars if the scheme is approved. For example, this particular scheme is sitting in an approved status. You click on View Scheme. When you click on View Scheme, you get an overview of the scheme. All right. So you get the name of the scheme. If there was an old and a new reg, you get it. This one is a new registration, so it doesn't have an old reg. Right next to that, you get a button where you'll be able to submit your annual returns. Right underneath that, you've got the executive committee members. You are able to update them. You've got the authorized rep. You've got the scheme summary, including the address. You've got the appointed auditors, managing agents, banking details. And right at the bottom, we've got something called D-Link or remove scheme. So since we did linking of scheme, I want to showcase how to delink a scheme. So you only delink a scheme if you are no longer a member of the community scheme and you want the scheme to be removed from your profile. Delinking a scheme is when you're no longer a member of the scheme or no longer representing the scheme. You want it removed so that someone else can be linked. All right. And then there's deactivating, which is the one over here. Deactivating means that you're canceling the scheme. You're saying the scheme no longer exists. That's deactivate. That is the difference between the two. So like I said, if you want to delink, you click on view scheme, you land on overview, you scroll all the way down, you've got delink, you click on delink, you put your delink reason. I am no longer a member, for example, and then you come and put in your documentation. So you can put in the members resolution, AGM minutes, or contract cancellation. Another one that is not written here, you can put in your resignation letter as well. So you can put in all three of these documents, or you can upload any one of the three times. We just decided on that so that you do not get stuck if you don't have contract cancellation. Maybe you only have a resolution, or maybe you only have your resignation letter, or maybe you have the AGM. Then you can still delink without having to wait for all these other documents. So you can take any one of the documentation that I mentioned, including the resignation letter with being the fourth one, and you can upload 3 times, and then you click on your delink. And then it goes, you get a reference number, and then it goes and it goes for review. And then once they approve the delink, then the scheme is then removed from your profile. Okay. Once the scheme is removed from your profile, other people can come and link themselves to the scheme. So the scheme is not cancelled at all. So that is on delinking. Then we've got deactivate. You click on deactivate when you want to cancel. So like I was saying when I was responding to that question about the scheme having incorrect information, saying that you only cancel if the homeowners association is being demolished, it is erroneously registered, so you've got a duplicate, but you found your real one. And then the scheme has been removed from the sectional title register, or any other reason. But any other reason, or even any of one of these reasons, you need a court order. So you cannot delete the scheme just because it's got incorrect information, because you will need a court order to do that. So you go and you put in the reason, you upload your court order, and you submit your deactivation request. So the court order is mandatory. Anything else is optional. So the unanimous resolution, deactivated deconveniencing documents are optional, but the court order is mandatory. Now, when it comes to erroneously registered, when the system came, or when the system went live, people were not familiar with the linking of schemes. So it's something that came with the system. It was never in existence before the system. So people went on to register schemes that were already registered. Now, only to find out that now they've got duplicates, right? Because they later found their schemes. So if you do fall under that category, you registered your scheme, it is now a duplicate, you found the correct one, you are able to deactivate the duplicate, and then you go and you stay with the old one, the one that you would have linked yourself to it. And if it is a duplicate, you select erroneously registered, then you come and you upload your court order. And then well, not your court order in this instance, because it is erroneously registered, you're going to open a Word document, type there to say, good day, kindly note that this executive team estate scheme is a duplicate. I registered it by mistake. I found the correct one and I am linked to the correct one. Kindly deactivate this one. You then put in the date, you then put in your signature, turn it into a PDF documentation. Come here where it says court order, upload that letter of yours that is signed and has a date, and then you submit your deactivation request. So the only time you can attach a letter with reason is if the scheme is a duplicate, but any other reason you do need a court order. So that is on deactivation of the scheme. So I have touched on delinking, I have touched on deactivation. The next thing that I would like to touch on is scheme amendment of particulars. The scheme must be in an approved status. So I will take this one, click on view scheme. It's just a little bit slow. Right, then compliance and payments will be dealt with in another session. I'm going to jump straight to amendment of particulars. You click on amendment of particulars. Anytime there is something that you need to amend, if it's the levy schedules, the levies have gone up, amendment of particulars. If it's the executive committee members, someone is deceased, someone is resigned, someone new has entered, you want to add them to the list, you click on executive com. Managing agent as well. So let me just start with the general information. So when it comes to general information, it includes the name of the scheme, the type of scheme, and the date, right? When it comes to general information, you cannot make this amendment on your own, because we do need the registration team to verify, to change the particulars on Sage as well before we can change on CSOS Connect. So if you want to amend the name or the scheme type or the date that the scheme came into effect, you can log a query with us or with me or the registration department, and then we'll be able to make this particular amendment on your behalf. Then you attach your you'll attach your supporting documents when you log that query. Right next to that, we've got levy schedule. So you've got the units. Maybe you want to add more units, or maybe there's a amount in the levy, a change amount in the levy. So you put in the date of the levy change and then the amount. So it's no longer 1,500, it is now 800. Levy type, attached to all units. Then you upload your supporting documents and you submit your amendment. And then as well as the executive committee members, you can add more, and then you attach the supporting documents, maybe AGM, and it's something that shows that there was an executive committee member that was appointed. Managing agents, the same. You can, if you've changed managing agents, you come here. Banking details, same procedure. Changing supporting documents. So every step of the way when you make a change, you must add supporting documents, as well as your auditors, authorized rep as well. And then we've got a feature called upload supporting documents. So if the compliance team reaches out to you or your scheme and say, can you please upload the most recent documentation, you go to view scheme, you click on amendment of particulars, then you come to upload supporting documents. once you get to supporting documents, you upload all the documents that the compliance team would have required from you, and then you can attach any one of those documents again here where it says supporting document, and you submit. Once you submit, then the compliance team will be able to go through the documentation, ensuring that the scheme is compliant. So that brings me to the end of amendment of particulars. Are there any questions in that regard?
We have a few, Musa. There's one that reads as follows. I'm a managing agent and have linked to our buildings. However, some of them on the portal are listed as the wrong entity. E.g., I have sectional title schemes registered as HOAs on the portal. What can help to rectify this?
All right, so in that instance, you have to log a call. So it boils down to general information, because remember I said when it comes to general information, you cannot make that amendment yourself. So if it's the scheme type, we have to make that amendment. So you can send an email or you can log a query on the system, which I haven't showed. I'll quickly show that. You can either log a query or you can send an email, which is quicker, to myself, and then you state the name of the scheme as well as the scheme type that it should be, and then we should be able to assist you. You can also send the relevant documentation. I am also going to put in, I'll type in, actually after this, I'll type in the other email address that you can use, which is the support email address. I don't know, Mr. Baba, if you have that email address, we can paste it on the chat. If you can send an email to support, then you'll be able to get assistance. Then they will be able to change the scheme type for you to amend that error.
Definitely, Musa will put it just in. Seems that we do not have any hands. We can continue, Musa.
All right, thank you. I'll go back to dashboard and go to log a query. So you click on log a query, then you tell us what your query is about. So if it's a registration issue, you click on registration. Query type, we've got scheme details captured, which goes back to that one that we were talking about, which is like the scheme type or the scheme name. We've got documentation uploaded, certificate or collection, rules submitted, amended, and message relay. So you can say scheme details captured. Is the query related to one of your schemes? Then you say yes. Then on the drop down, you can just choose the scheme that the query is about. Then you can type in there, please assist with the scheme type. Then you write there, HOA should be sectional title, right? And then you click on the terms and conditions, and then you log your query. You get a ticket number, and then once the query is resolved, you're going to get a notification here with the resolution. So it's going to tell you, please do this, and that, and then you're going to be able to do that. And then we've got revenue as well. We've got bulk payments, invoice dispute, levy payment calculation, levy payment refund, missing levy allocation, annual returns. And you will see that anytime with revenue queries, you might be asked to upload like maybe a proof of payment or whatever documentation that is needed. And then yeah, even levy invoice, like I said, most of the revenue queries need supporting documents. And then we've got compliance as well. Underneath that, we've got scheme rules, scheme governance documents, submission. waiver application, appointment of EMA, court-appointed scheme admin, and message relay. You choose the query type, you choose the scheme, details of the query, T's and C's, and then you submit the query. Last but not least, you've got dispute, and then you can say query, and then is it related to an existing dispute case? Yes. Then you put in the reference number of the dispute, then you put in your details and supporting documents if applicable, and then you submit your query. So this brings me to the end of my training session for today. If there are any questions or concerns, please do feel free to share with me. Mr. Vava? All right, Mr. Vava, we are at the end of the training session. So I was asking if there are any questions and just handing over to you.
Thank you so much, Musa. We do have a few hands. The first hand is from Faith. I'm hoping she's able to unmute herself. Faith? Can you please help her by unmuting herself and perhaps allowing her to be able to speak?
She's unmuted. I think it's on her side. The issue is on her side, not ours.
Okay, and I believe that brings us to the end, Musa. And thank you to everyone that just attended this session. Please be on the lookout for our next CSOS Connect trainings that will be advertised on our social media platforms. And we'll be sending out emails to all the people that are on our database. And I hope that this was very helpful to everyone that attended today. You will note that Vuiswa Dolo has typed in our support and training email on our chats. Feel free to reach out to us if you want us to come to your scheme or to your company to assist you with any CSOS Connect inquiries. Feel free to reach out to us. We are able to provide that support to you colleagues, and we want to partner with you in terms of you understanding CSOS Connect, because CSOS Connect will be our only platform that we are going to make use moving forward as the CSOS. It will come to a point one day where we do not take walk-ins and all our work will be done on CSOS Connect. I want to appreciate you colleagues for attending this session, and please invite your friends and colleagues for our next webinar that we are going to have. And thank you so much for attending. Bye-bye.
I see Faith has a question. How to proceed with first registration of...
Okay, you can tackle it, Musa.
How to proceed with first registration? I don't think I understand the question.
I think she joined in late. Maybe she's asking how to proceed when you want to register a scheme the first time around. I think what she can do, she will have access to the recording. She can just go to the start of the recording, and then where you are explaining how to set up a profile and how to register from there. Okay. Thank you, colleagues, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.